Today we have an amazing guest who's a chartered accountant and also a company secretary. Her name is Nisha Dhanuka. She's the co founder of QINFIN Consulting and an ex banker. Welcome, Nisha.
Thanks, Irfat, for having me. It's a pleasure, and I hope I add some value to the discussion that we have today.
Okay. So, Nisha, take me through your entire journey, your early days. How did you decide to pursue a career in finance? Because finance, like many people say, it's a male dominated world like engineering. How did you, decide that? And you have been AIR also, All India rank holder as well, both in chartered accountancy and company secretary. Take us through the entire journey.
So, Irfat, I think I come from Calcutta and of Marwari family, and I always tell this that I was by destined to be a CA. I feel I was born into a Marwari family in Calcutta, and when you grow up there, you always see numbers, money discussions happening around in home. And in Calcutta at that point of time, in early late 90s, we had very limited career options. And anyway, I was very inclined towards numbers, so CA and CS was obvious choice for me to go ahead and pursue it. And my father was very conservative in terms of spending, so he would say that find out a course which gives you the highest ROI. And I think nothing can beat a CA course. You would know that you yourself are a CA. So just went ahead with the course, and there was one thing, I think right from the childhood we were told that if you're doing something, do it religiously and give it your all. And that's how I pursued my CA and CS and ended up getting rank in all India rank in both the courses.
Okay, so I think with Marwadi, the CA is something that comes naturally, so naturally. Just that you took one step ahead and you took up CS as well. Okay, but take me through your journey. Like, did you struggle to do this, and uh, is having an AIR an added advantage for early career, or does it, help you go beyond that as well?
CA is one course which I say, of course, see, when you complete your CA, technically nobody challenges you. They know that you are a technically very strong person, you know your subjects. But what it also does is that it completely changes you as a person. When you enter CA, you are like, okay, it's an easy course, you'll do it. But when you go through the rigor, when you go through the grind, you come out as a much more, I would say, a person full of perseverance, never give up attitude, and there's no shortcut to hard work. These were my learnings, and that really helped me as a person. I started my career as a banker and always wanted to do something on my own and create employment opportunities. And that's how I started my company Quinfin as well. Now, all India rank, honestly, when I was studying for my CA and a CS, rank was not at all in my mind. I only wanted to pass. That was my dream. But we say it's good karma, hard work, and mom's blessing that I ended up getting a all India rank. So never prepared for it, but yeah, definitely gave it all what it takes to pass the course.
You mentioned about the rigor and the grinding, that you go through CA. I remember when I got into CA, I had very long hair, and when I became CA, I had left with, I was just not left with
Absolutely.
any hair at the end. I think this is how CA takes your adulthood,
Absolutely.
and CA takes up away almost everything from you by the time you come out.
Yes.
There's a saying that if you find a girl with a heavy lipstick, she's not doing CA.
Uh,
Anyway, so congratulations, you've done it in style. I
Thank
think
you.
what many people should be learning is we should not be actually looking for rank. If rank happens, it's good, but if rank does not happen, at least you pass the
Yeah,
exam.
I see that the rank and no rank it is the differentiator at the beginning that for your first job. After that, it's all about how good you are at your work. Nobody asks you before giving promotion in your organization, are you all India rank holder or you just passed the exam? Nobody asks that. That is the initial advantage that you have once you enter and your first job. Suppose that it is all about your knowledge and how well you do your work.
Okay. So why did you decide, you are an ex-banker, why did you decide to quit your job and start QuinFin? Take me through your, what does QuinFin stand for? How is it different? And what are you trying to achieve?
So, why I quit? As I said, I always wanted to do something on my own. I think again those genes of Marwaris of doing having their own business was always there, and secondly, in 2011, when I became a mother, my banking job was very. The timings were like you don't know when will you come home. I wasn't as a credit manager looking at accounts, so this gave me a little leeway that okay, now it is a good time to explore whether I can do something on my own or not, and that's how I started my entrepreneurship journey. And secondly, I think Bangalore was the right place. This is the best launch pad for anyone to start their business, because here people don't judge looking at your age, saying that how at young age you can't be a business owner or you can't start a business. They will see the quality of services that you bring on table, how much you know the work that you're doing, and they're ready to give you a chance. They try the new product or services, and even today any new startup that come, they want to first launch their product or services in Bangalore, because this the Bangalore population is very exploratory in nature. They want to try new products and services. So that was my journey as an entrepreneur. I started, and since it worked, we CAs work with a simple math that if 1 year I will eat out of my savings, from next year if my business don't give me enough to run my bills or pay my bills, I will go back to my job. Thankfully, I was able to sustain, and my business started generating revenue, and I never had to look back. So that was my start of my entrepreneurship journey. QuinFin is my second venture. Initially, I started with C2X. QuinFin, I again, we always try to see what is the gap in the market when we are meeting different people as an entrepreneur. And I realized that in Bangalore, there are a lot of startups, and a lot of founders are comes from technical backgrounds. They are techies who don't have so much knowledge about finance or accounting. In fact, they shy away from getting into the details, and that's where me and my partner, my co-founder, saw an opportunity that if we can create an organization which not only does the accounting and compliances but also educate the founders, saying that this is why what we are doing, have a monthly meet with them very in a very disciplined manner, tell them about what's happening in their accounting. It will empower them to talk to their investors, and it will also give them a lot of confidence as to what we are doing. So we saw that gap, that gap was missing. Initially CAs will just do their accounting compliances and the founder is not at all aware what's happening. So we tried to bridge that gap, and it worked beautifully. In fact, I would say 80% of our clients today are startups or funded startups, and they love to work with us.
Okay, that's amazing. I think I heard a few points here where uh, the startup owners are not very conversant with numbers, but I think off late it has been changing with people like you who are actually making them interested in numbers.
Yes. See, we have to understand the why do we start business. At the end of the day, it all boils down whether you're making profit or not. You may be amazing in your product or services. You may be amazing in doing the sales, but if you don't convert that sales into cash and make them hit your bank account, what's the point? In fact, 80 to 85% of the businesses fail because they're poor in their cash flow management. I do sales of 1 crore, but if I'm not able to recover that money and bring it to my bank account, what's the point? Boils down to profit after tax. So, as you rightly said, yes, now there's a lot of awareness, and when you deal with investors, investors always talk in the terms of ROI. When will I get my return? When will I get an exit? So, founders have realized that they cannot say that I don't understand numbers or my CA will take care. No, you have to understand when will you break even, when will start getting into profits, and that's how we see the lot of valuation game also happening around in the globe.
So Nisha, tell me, what does QuinFin do?
So QINFIN stands for Quality in Finance. We help companies right from incorporating. When they have an idea, they want to create a company, we help them incorporate the company, get the various important registrations done, maintain their monthly accounting, statutory compliances, corporate law compliances, labor law compliances. So it's end to end finance and account outsourcing is what we do for our clients.
Okay. I think this is providing a 360 degree services.
Yes, one to one, that you they don't have to see. The moment you have an in-house employee or an accountant, the onus goes on the founders to chase them. Have you filed the compliances? Have you filed your GST on time? But when you outsource it, we know that if we don't perform on time, we lose the client. So they focus on their product or services, what they are good at, and they outsource this finance accounting to us where we are good at.
Right, amazing. I think you're solving one very major problem that the new entrepreneurs face this. What is your idea about women entrepreneurs? You yourself is coming, uh, opening your own startup, running your own business. What is your opinion about women entrepreneurs, and how are you supporting them?
So I am very pro women entrepreneur, and what challenge I see when I work with women entrepreneur is that they have a limited mindset when they start a business, that they are good in their product or services, but they are not good in managing the money, and that's where they always fall on their male counterpart to manage the accounting, to manage the finances, which I always tell them it's not so. If you can sell your product or services, you cannot shy away or saying that I don't understand finances. You have to understand finances. If you are a business owner, money, finance is very, very critical for the success of your business. So I do a lot of sessions creating awareness about how do you manage your cash flow. When you start a business, what are the certain things you should keep in place so that your operations are running smoothly. And I also enable them to understand what are the different avenues where they can do investment and create some passive income. So that is the little contribution I do for women entrepreneurs on various platforms. Wherever I see that there is an opportunity and I can add value to their growth journey, I always pitch in and do whatever I can do to empower them.
But what is your opinion? Who is good at numbers, women or men?
Both are equally good, both are equally bad, because numbers never said that it is a gender bias thing. Numbers didn't say a man can do better with me and women can't. uh, I will take the liberty of saying in my house I am better with numbers, I am better with investments than my husband. We can always have a fight at home about this, but at the end of the
I
day,
hope he does not watch this podcast.
he must watch it, because then and that's the reality. Even he says that you are better with numbers. So I think that's precisely the mindset we need to break, that numbers are not gender biased.
This is already breaking, because I remember, I'm sure you will also resonate with what I have experienced when we were doing CAs. I saw a major population of the student, major number of the students were male. But then from the foundation, when I came to enter, when I went to final, I saw somewhere it is changing slightly. Very recently, I remember I was just doing a small survey in my class where I had given them a number of questions. One of the question was, how many of you are male, how many of you are female, and others. Incidentally, in India, nobody chose others, but I was very surprised to discover that 51% of that batch, which had more than 300 students, were women.
I think that is awesome. As you know, I'm so happy that you did that survey, and I think you should keep doing that survey and uh, take it to the world, saying that the things are changing and finance is no more male dominated. Women are equally good and capable to manage money and
In fact,
finances.
while doing that survey, I went on to tell all the students that is there guys who are voting as women, because I just couldn't believe it, because I found it very surprising. But off late, I'm seeing that women are becoming good at
Yes,
numbers.
yeah, of course, of
They are
course.
they are more focused around, I think, and that psychology or that mindset that women cannot be great way numbers is changing and should change for sure. So tell me about, you have done your CA, you have done your CS. Why didn't you do something else as well?
I didn't have the time. C and CS was enough on my plate to pursue and complete it. So, in fact, again, that's a very, I would say, again, a very Marwari mindset that when you invest, you take maximum out of where you're putting your money. So, if you see CA and CS, there are a lot of subjects that are overlapping. Only what differs is the depth. In CA, it is more about accounting. Those number based subjects are more in depth. And in CS, it is law based. So I said, anyway, I'm studying here. If I study my accounting and all those subjects in CA in a good way, it will help me to clear my CS if those subjects are there. And if I study well in CS and law and all, my CA becomes an easy. So it was overlapping subjects, and we do it along with BCom. You can pursue CA or CS along with BCom. So that's why I just took these three courses, because a lot of subjects were overlapping. And studying one subject, I will be able to clear three courses. I did not even think of any other course. And I think at that point of time, there was not so much of awareness also about the other courses. The maximum we could think was CA, CS, or CFA. CFA was an expensive course. Did not
It is
offer
still a
it.
very, very
It so
expensive
didn't
course.
I told you, for us it was I
More
was
about
it was all
ROI.
ROI, simple.
Yeah, I think I resonate with you in this, because I remember when I was doing my CA, I wanted to do CS, I wanted to do ICWA, and without informing my partner, I registered for CS also. I registered for ICWI, only later to discover that you can pursue one additional
Course,
course. And I remember I had passed my CS Inter that time. CS Executive, it is called. I think
Yes.
till today it is called CS
I think
Executive.
so, yeah.
And then CS Final. So I passed my CS Executive. I also passed my ICWI Inter. But by that time, I became a chartered accountant. And then, life becomes so difficult and
Hectic, yeah.
easy and hectic
Correct.
that you have to, you can't pursue it beyond a point.
Correct.
And I had to leave that. Good that you planned it really well during your graduation. And I think I messed it up. couldn't complete my CS and my ICWA.
You can still go ahead and do it. There's no age. That's the beauty of this courses. You
Yes.
can rise even in 50, 60, 40, any time of
But
the...
I think in ICWI there is still a system where you need to write some
I am not
answers.
aware about ICAW. I never
ICWA.
pursued that course.
Okay, I remember I had this matter came because you talked about ROI. I remember I approached my boss and I said I want a 10 days leave because I want to write my CS final exam. He said, even if you pass, your salary is not going to increase.
So there's no point.
So there is no point, but your 10-day salary is going to go away. So better focus on your job. And
Yeah,
so I think I just gave it up after that because I could not balance it. I could not give it time. And my bosses were like, even if you do it, nothing is going to change. But I had a passion to study beyond, to expose myself to the world of education, particularly into the finance. So I picked up things that I could manage it well with my job. So I continued with my CPA. I did my CIMA. I also did my CMA. And trust me, all of these does not require you to quit your job. It does not require to take permission from your bosses, because these are on-demand examination. Without telling, forget your bosses, without telling your wife, you can write these exams. So I remember I did not tell my wife because I was scared that will I be able to pass this exam, because I was opening book after a very, very long time, which I always tell all the married men and women, particularly women, that your in-laws, you don't need to answer your in-law. So do it secretly, do it private. When she sleeps, open your book, go and write the exam as if you're attending a marriage party. Come back and give her results. You are done. Let success celebrate itself than you telling and putting a lot of pressure on you, and then you become answerable. Result kya hua, pass hua, nahi hua. So that puts a lot of additional pressure, from your loved ones also. So I did all of that, but I think today it has made all these much more possible. You rightly said when you were growing up, during the 80s and the 90s, the only thing that you can think of is CA.
Right.
CA nahi to, there was nothing else. But fortunately today, I think there are a lot more options
Yes.
available. And I don't know, in Punarjanma, would you want to do this CA again?
Oh yes, because until you become CA, it's a tough journey. As I said, what if you don't become? But once you become CA, now the moment I go to a platform and I say I'm a CA, my credibility is established.
Correct.
I don't have to do anything beyond that. And it's all about, just sell my product or services. That's it. So the kind of credibility and the foundation that this degree gives, I think I would not shy away from saying maybe next 7 years, I would like to be CA.
I think in terms of credibility, like you said, it offers a lot of credibility. I think I remember when I wanted to do something. I love two things in life. One is farming, and one is teaching.
Awesome.
So I wanted to pick up farming sometime when I was in my CA final days, and I called up home and I said, I don't want to continue in my CA and I want to get into farming. And I remember my elder brother, he picked up and said, just tell one thing, that you're not able to pass the exam. All right,
Correct.
instead of going around the bush and giving excuses. And I did see you only out of ego, just to prove them that that
That's not
was
the case.
not the reason. But today when I look back, I think maybe that's how it had to be. But in my Punarjanma, I don't think this is something that I want to do, because I have no memory of my adulthood. How I came out of college and how I, went thereafter, I have no memory. I have no memory of traveling. I have no memory of going out with friends. I have no memory of watching movie. And whatever little that I have memory of, I think being physically there, I was never emotionally and mentally present there. I always had the guilt within me that I'm, doing something wrong. I'm doing some pap or something by being here, and missed out on that. So I think there are a lot of people currently who are thinking in these lines, and you will see that there has been a sharp decline in the people who are opting for articleship, or who are, you're running your firm, company. So I'm sure you will understand that there's a decline in the number of articles who were available some time back, than the number of article applicants who are coming today. So how is there something that ICI needs to change to bring back the shine that CA has had earlier?
I think I don't want to comment on do ICI need to change something, but definitely I would like to comment on like how do you place articleship? Articleship as a journey is a beautiful journey. The kind of work experience you gain at that point of time, you will never get again the moment you become CA. Then you get into the grind and you just focus on whatever department you get into. Uh, but how do you place your articles? I think that mindset needs to be changed in the firm who hire them.
See, I have an opinion here. Uh, uh, I have been very vocal about it, that the entire articleship is a scam. All right, you may not agree with me, but I have always been of the opinion that why not have articleship after completion of your CA, because I will be extremely focused. I have accomplished my journey. I'm going to be extremely focused into articleship than doing articleship where I don't know whether I will eventually become a CA or not. Imagine yourself, you are serving a client, you have served them for 3 months, and after 3 months, you are not sure whether he'll pay you or not. Will you give them all of your, attention, all of your dedication to that client, not knowing clearly whether eventually will I be paid or not?
I will slightly differ from your perspective, and I think we all have our own opinions. I feel it is good to have this articleship along your CH journey, because now if you see the pattern of paper or the questions that come, it is very practical. Only reading the books will not give you that perspective and those insights when you're actually practically doing it. And it so that articleship along, and also that as I said, that this is a rigorous journey. When you enter CA, as you rightly said, you have to forget about going out with friends, watching movies. It is a kind of sadhana that you have to go through. 3 years, 4 years, 5 years on an average that a CA takes to complete his course. And if you really put a discipline into in terms of how much time you're investing as an article and how much time you're studying, I think the person you come out is totally different. Rather than you spend 3 years just studying, how much will you study? How much? When I hear students saying that I'm studying 18 hours, 20 hours, how is it humanly possible? Are you really productive in this 18 to 20 hours? I have cleared my CA without any coaching. I did my self study. It's all about when you study, you study. Your focus is your key. So I feel this articleship actually gives you a perspective into what is happening in the practical world vis-a-vis in theory. And I think that helped me to get my rank and understanding about how this world operates. But coming again, saying that how are you treated, like how are you paid? An article getting 3,000, 5,000 per month at that point of time. Now, of course, things have changed. They're demanding higher, and firms are ready to pay higher. But then also, if you compare it with any other average pay cycle that any other person get, it is very less. So that is little, I feel, demotivating, saying that I put so much of effort to get what, some 15,000, 20,000 per month. And you rightly again said that I'm not sure whether I'm going to clear my CA or not. It is not like a engineering exam I get and I'll pass out and get it. You're not sure. You don't know. A foundation, inter, final. You don't know when will you get stuck.
Engineers
And
will hate you for saying that.
yeah, so you can eliminate that. So you don't know whether you're going to get stuck in foundation, inter, final. The journey is long and rigorous. But then, even if you don't clear, if you're just a CA inter or writing CA inter, you still have your technicals or fundamentals good. You still will be hired
But are you
by.
respected as a chartered accountant?
Of course not. A degree is a degree. And that's why if you see that CA Institute, ICI themselves recognized calling CA Inter as a particular designation. They are not CAs, but they are given some designation by which they can actually go and get jobs in
Accounting
the
technician, are you
accounting
referring?
technician. Yeah, I don't exactly remember, but they're given a designation, so they with that also they can go and get jobs. In my company, I can't afford to have all chartered accountants. So what we look out is for people who are writing their CA enters, who have quit CA because of whatever reason they were not able to complete. And we see the quality is not that bad. They still go through the grind. It's just that CA, I would say it's 70-80% hard work, but 20% luck also matters, because we have seen people not clearing the exam by 1 mark, 2 mark.
Just that maybe luck was more on your side
Of
than my
course, I
side.
that's why I said for me it was hard work, my parents' blessings, and the good luck. Otherwise, I I am not. I would not say I'm much better than the other people writing the
Because it
exams.
happened twice with me that I passed all the papers and I still failed. So,
Oh yeah, so yeah, that is again the beauty of this program, that you pass all the papers, and still in total, if you don't get it, you're flunk. In fact, some people who are not aware about these courses, especially CA, they ask you, so कौन सा subject fail किया? None. तो पास क्यों नहीं हुआ?
yeah, exactly. I remember my mathematics teacher teaching probability and said
Yeah.
there are, probability of failing the exam that you passed, 3 and failed 1. So you fail. You pass 2 and fail 2. So I told him there is one more probability of failing the CA exam, which is you passed in everything.
And then
But
also you
still you
fail.
failed.
Yeah.
So he was like, yes. I said, I know this probability because I'm the victim of that probability. But yes, that gives you the direction. It gives you a shape,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it just makes you a new person,
Yeah.
which you can't visualize yourself when you just
Correct. Absolutely.
began your career. And most importantly, it changes your hairstyle. So, as a CA, yes. So, Nisha, given an opportunity, which other profession would you want to pursue?
I honestly I can't think of anything beyond being a chartered accountant. I love it, and I anything related to numbers and accounting is really excites me. So I think I would not go for choosing any other profession apart from being CEO, or I can't think of anything right now. But if I would not have pursued my career as a chartered accountant and chosen some other field altogether, then I would have definitely be a social worker.
Okay, great.
So, if I would also like to just ask you the same question, that if not into teaching, what else would have really inspired you to choose as a profession?
So I think, I always wanted to become a teacher. In fact, the other profession came up much later in my life. I'm into teaching for since my school days. But when I was growing up, I was very fond of farming. So I remember during my childhood days, I used to just throw some seeds on the in my pot and something will grow, and I'll become super excited. I've grown all plants that actually can be grown at home. So I've done that. So I always wanted to become a farmer. I remember, my story when I told at home that I want to take up farming as a full time profession, and they came back and said, "Tell me that you don't want to study. Tell me that you have lost your interest." So they came up with all weird questions just to discourage me, or maybe just to ensure that I continue my focus into books. But till today, I want to be a farmer. I did a lot of research around farming. I wanted to do a diploma course also on farming, but unfortunately, when I did that research in Bangalore, they said the classes, all these are in Kannada medium. So though
Okay.
I understand Kannada, quite a lot of it, but I can't understand the script. So they said the literature, the script is also going to be in Kannada. The second thing why I could not pursue is I don't have a land. We don't have, we don't come from a farmer background that we have our own land where we do farming. So, but I still have the passion for it, and one day in my life I am going to take it up as a full time, and I hope that day comes,
So
as soon as
amazing,
possible.
amazing. In fact, agri tech, agri and technology is one of the most sought after domain for investors. So
Definitely, and like you said, your qualification adds to your credibility.
yes,
So, as an educated farmers who understand numbers more than seeds,
yeah,
you can add a lot of
yeah,
value from the other
correct,
side of it,
absolutely,
because farming, a lot of people say it's not a profitable business. It can be a
absolutely,
very
absolutely.
profitable business. So, maybe during my retirement period, I'll take up farming as an entrepreneurship
I wish you all the
in my
best.
second inning. Yeah, thank you so much.
So, if you have been teaching from such a long time, so what do you think are the crucial skills for a finance professional to succeed and excel in their professional life?
See, to become a successful finance professional, there's one thing that is most crucial, and that is having a right qualification. And that qualification today, in terms of opportunity wise, it can be anything. All that I say is start a qualification that you are confident that you will be able to conclude successfully. There's no point joining any qualification that you begin, but you give up in middle. So whether it is chartered accountancy, company secretary, a CPA, ACCA, CMA, CIA, CFA, FRM, EA, there's so many. Unlike when I was growing up, when you were doing, these were not there at all.
Correct.
The only qualification that we were aware of was CFA, which was unaffordable that time, and today also it is unaffordable for many. But in addition to all these qualification, which adds to a lot to your credibility, I think you should have a very good analytical skills. You should know some presentation tools like Power BI, like Tableau. These helps in your presentation. This helps in your what you are conveying to the audience. Numbers are one thing, but if you can illustrate that through some kind of a easy to understand bar graph, it makes a lot of difference in your presentation. One more thing that I always tell young professionals to learn is presentation, what we call PPT. I know people hate PPT, but what if you can't present to the end
Correct.
audience, there's no point having that knowledge. It's like I know the chapter, I know the subject, but I'm not able to present this in my answer paper.
Correct.
So you are as big a failure as anybody else is. So these are something that I think if you know it, you are going to go a long way to eventually rise up the ladder in your corporate.
Yeah, very well said, Irfat. In fact, you may have immense knowledge, but if you're not able to present and communicate it to the other person, then it just remains knowledge. You are not, sharing it with other
You're not
people.
monetizing your
You're
knowledge
not
also,
monetizing your knowledge. Yeah.
which is very important. As a finance, your everything should be monetized.
Yes, absolutely. What are the 5 skills required to make a successful finance professional?
So, first thing is that you have to have a qualification. It can be anything. You can be a chartered accountant, you can be a CPA, CMA, CIA, CFA, EA. You can choose anything, but ensure that you are achieving it successfully. In addition, if you learn Excel, if you have great knowledge in Excel, great understanding, if you learn Power BI, if you learn Tableau, if you learn presentation skills, these are something that is going to take you a long way, because what you have learned, eventually you need to communicate this information in the form of slides, in the form of summarized version, which is very easy for the decision makers to understand, visualize, and take decision. I think this is something that uh, if you work on, you are going to go a long way.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. So, you have worked as a finance manager in Shell. So, what are the certain uh, qualities or learnings that you took from took as a finance professional, and you implement that while teaching and while creating your content for your academy?
See, the first thing I always do is I make learning fun. That's the first thing that I do. Because if you are attending a meeting which is boring, you are not going to take any inputs, you are not going to add value. So first thing is learning has to be entertaining. This is first thing that I try to do in teaching. The second thing is whatever I've learned all my life working in Shell and with my BMR, with other previous companies, I bring the entire knowledge to the table. The entire finance world, the entire accounting world, the entire auditing world, even if you look at subject, in terms, it may look as theory, but it is real practical world. I bring all those practical exposure and experiences to the table and try connecting everything that the book says, everything that the subject says to the real world scenario, and most importantly, make them understand why a certain thing is done in a certain way. What is the process? Why is process important? I remember my boss used to always tell me that if you learned what I know, or if you went a little beyond what I know, you're a failure. Your learning should start where mine had stopped. So I try to bring the entire years of experience in just 6 months, 1 year. That, I think, in my boss's words, is called real success.
Yeah, yeah, that's nice. That's nice. So, if what do you think? Is it better to start this financial courses along with BCom or after BCom?
So it completely depends on you. If you want to enjoy one last time in your life with your college, which you have always been dreaming of, enjoy that time and go for after that. But in my opinion, when you are studying, make the best use of your 3 years. Now in the new NAP, it is going to become 4 years. So this is the time when you actually work hard. I think there are a lot of things that you can do. CA is something that if you start only in the early years of your graduation, right from the first year, then only by the time you turn 22, 23, or maybe 25, if you take a little longer to complete, you will be able to. But imagine starting such qualification when you are at 25. You're going to finish at 30, 32, which does not make so much sense even if you successfully complete. There are many other qualifications that you can start along with your graduation. They are very quick in terms of turnaround time. The passing rates are good. Plus, they have a good rate of acceptance as well, along with chartered accountancy. So, in my opinion, I would say that start from the first year of your graduation. In fact, just while you are in the class 12, you should have planned which way to go. I see a lot of students who wants to pursue CA. I see equal number of students who says, I don't want to pursue this, I want to pursue something else, but I want to pursue something in finance. It's an open world. Opportunities are from everywhere. You pursue what you love to pursue, because if you are scared at the very beginning, I think the life is going to be very challenging and difficult for you. So any professional course, pick it up, research about it, go with the syllabus. I'm sure you're going to make a great decision. The next thing is, there was a time when passing one qualification was becoming an end of the journey. But today, one qualification is leading to the next one. You mentioned that, while you were doing CA, and CS, there was a lot of synergy in both the courses, and you could just balance both together. In fact, I did BCom also because there was nothing additionally that you
Right.
had to study. If you look at any of these international professional course and CA also, they have everything in common. A chartered accountant can easily pursue ACCA, and ACCA can also pursue CA because the syllabus is very, very common. Similarly, if you look at CPA, CPA also has almost everything in common, what we study in BCom in India, what we study in ACCA, and what we study in CA. So, my opinion, start early, finish early, start making a lot of money early in life. It makes a lot of difference.
Absolutely, I totally agree. So, what do you suggest? What are the other alternative courses apart from chartered accountancy, which these students can pursue?
See, first is I have always been telling students, if you are pursuing CA, amazing. There are a lot of students. Should I quit this to pursue this? Should I not do this? I have always been saying, if you have started it, do not quit. At least till you very strongly believe that you cannot pursue it any further. There are, situations in life changes. You get married, you have financial commitment, you have so many other things. You cannot once you pass your CA enter, you cannot go for articleship where you have married, you have children, you have commitments, you have housing loan, but you cannot be called a failure. So it's all about taking decisions at the right time. So in case you are tired with CA because it is not giving you the right success, there are a lot of alternative path. Out of 1,000 students who are entering CA, you would believe that a lot of people say CA has 10% passing percentage, which means if 1,000 students has entered CA, 100 are going to become CA, which is not right. Which is not right. Even if you assume 20% as passing percentage, out of 1,000 students, 200 students are going to pass the first level of CA. That same 200 is going to write the second level of CA. If you assume 20% still the passing percentage, which is still on the higher side, only 40 students are going to come out and go to CA final. Now remember, out of 40 students, if we continue 20% passing percentage, 8 students are coming out as chartered accountant. What about the remaining 992 students who had a dream of becoming CA who did not become? So I don't want to tell that, leave CA and do something else. I want to tell that when you are doing CA, why not protect yourself? Because at the end of time, you cannot say that I gave everything to CA, but CA gave me nothing in return. It cannot be a
Correct.
lose-lose situation. If you have added any other qualification, if CA happens, the other qualification is going to be an added advantage to you.
Absolutely.
If CA does not happen, the other qualification is going to rescue you. And today, you are anything. It only matters in your first job, whether you are a CA, whether you are a CPA, whether you are an ACCA, or any other qualification that you have taken. It only matters in your first job, which is an entry. It is a qualification required to sit in that chair. Once you have sat in that chair, then how you perform, how you deliver, that comes to the forefront. So whether you could pass CA, you could not pass, if you have done your ACCA, if you have done your CPA, in the long run, you will make as good money as you could have made as a chartered accountant. So it's a time where we learn how to balance, because life cannot stop. If you achieved, good. Could not achieve, life cannot stop. You have one life, you have family to take care, you have opportunities that is coming your way. The world is extremely globalized. You can work in India as with so many other qualification. Likewise, as a chartered accountant, you can go to any part of the world. The acceptance is very, very high in India and around the world. In fact, you should not be amazed to know this, that CPAs in India are paid as much as even chartered accountants are paid. In fact, with just 10 years, 15 years of experience as a CPA, as a ACCA, you are getting salary which is more than 20, 30 lakhs in India itself. If you look at globally, the salaries is almost 3 to 5x of what you can make in India. So CA हुआ, amazing. नहीं हुआ तो कुछ ना कुछ होना चाहिए. That's why we say CA के साथ भी, CA के बाद भी.
I am a CA and I see in a conversation you using the word CPA, ACCA. So I would also like to understand that how this CA, ACCA, CPA are different, and what are the difference in terms of opportunities and returns as well.
So in terms of in terms of difference, all the three are very, very similar when you go to the core of the subject. In chartered accountancy, the core subjects are accounting, auditing, taxation. If you look at CPA, we have accounting, auditing, taxation. If you look at ACC, again, we have accounting, auditing, taxation. So these are the three pillars or three subjects which are at the core of it. So in terms of subject matter expertise, yes, all the three are same. In terms of rigor of the exam, CA, you have to write group wise minimum. So you'll be having to write all the four papers together. If you pass in all the four papers, fail in aggregate, then also you are considered fail. If you fail in one of the papers, you fail in entire group. That makes the journey very, very difficult in CA, and that could be one of the intent, to keep it like this. Unlike this, in ACCA, it is little simplified because you have to write one paper at a time. There's no group system. If you fail one paper, you have to just rewrite that particular paper again. So there's no group system, there's no aggregate weightage, it's just an individual paper. And if you are declared pass in one individual paper, then you have passed that paper. You don't need to rewrite that exam. The similar thing is there in CPA as well. CPA has just four papers, and each of the papers you can write individually. You don't have to write, you need not write all the four together. And if you fail in any of the papers, you just need to rewrite that particular paper. In terms of exam pattern, CA is very descriptive. It is, it's a paper and pen system of examination. Unlike CA, which is still using the conventional examination technique and methodology. ACCA has a computer-based examination, which is a blend of MCQs and descriptive case studies. If you look at CPA, that is still a complete computer-based examination, but there is no descriptive answering there. It's 100% MCQ based examination. You can say fill in the blanks, match the following, and something that we have all been doing all our life. Just that we used to do with paper and pen, here we have to do a computer system. But it's little on a higher side because you will be exposed to a real life scenario, like you are doing auditing of a company. So there will be a lot of documents, there will be a lot of reviews, and then you will have those. Based on that, you have to visualize the real situation and then you have to answer. But it is all going to be like fill in the blanks or selection from the list of options. In terms of opportunity, whether you are a chartered accountant, whether you are ACCA, whether you are a CPA, at least in India, in the last 3-4 years, what I have seen, the opportunities are very, very similar. Companies are hiring you, whether you are a chartered accountant, whether you are a CPA, whether you are an ACCA, the companies are willing to hire for any of these qualifications, unless you are willing to practice. I don't see any difference from the industry side as long as employability is concerned. The last thing in terms of return on investment, I think CA definitely has a very good potential to give you a very good return on investment. But I think somewhere we do not incorporate the timeline. CA takes close to 5 years or sometimes even 7-8 years. I've seen hundreds and hundreds of people who have not been able to pass in their first attempt. I'm sure you will agree that most people are not able to pass in their first attempt. So on an average, you are going to invest 5 to 7 years to become a chartered accountant. But on the other hand, ACCA can be done in just over 24 to 36 months. Even if you fail some of the papers, you are going to fail one paper. And exams are conducted 4 times in a year, unlike CA where exams are conducted twice a year. So you get 4 times opportunity to write the exams in ACCA. So the timeline to complete is comparatively much shorter. The third thing with regard to CPA, CPA is an on-demand exam. You wish to write on any particular day in a year, you have to choose the exam date, exam window, and you can block your exam and you can write the exam. So again, exam happens 365 days a year.
Wow.
So it offers you a lot more flexibility. You don't have to take off from your boss. And since you are writing one paper at a time, I don't think it requires you to quit your job. Neither ACCA requires you to quit your job, nor CPA requires you to quit your job. But CA, I'm sure you'll agree that with a full-time job, it is almost very difficult, if not impossible. Particularly, the articleship makes it almost impossible, that you cannot quit your you cannot sabotage or put your financial independence at stake and then go on to do your articleship earning a 5,000 stipend. I think it has improved. Now we are getting maybe 10,000, 15,000, but still not good enough to run a family.
Right.
Even of two.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Irfat. I think, in fact, I'm inspired to pursue CPA now. I will definitely go and look into the possibility of doing CPA.
If you are looking at expanding yourself to a global outreach,
Yeah.
unfortunately, CAs the Western world don't know. I have so many of my own students who are chartered accountants who are doing good in India. They wanted to migrate to US, they wanted to migrate to Canada. They went there, and nobody knows what is chartered accountancy. I feel little disappointed being a chartered accountant myself, but we cannot do anything about it. The only thing that we can do is pursue CPA. And for a chartered accountant to pursue CPA, it is very simple because you have studied all of it. The only one subject which may sound new to you is taxation. And trust me, the US taxation is 100 times more simple than Indian taxation. In fact, when I read it for the first time, I said, can tax be so simple? Really?
Good to
Where
know
you
that.
don't have to learn case law, where you don't have to learn section reference, where you don't have to learn explanation, nothing of that. So, very plain, simple, vanilla tax laws. That is something that is going to be new. Otherwise, there's nothing new as a subject.
Good to know that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nisha, for accepting our invite and spreading awareness about so many things, so many possibilities, opportunities to our audience. I'm looking forward to having some other time, maybe another conversation with you.
Thanks, Irfat. Thanks for having me. It was wonderful interacting with you.
And all the best for your venture,
Thank you so
your
much.
QINFIN.
Thank you.